Hello, and welcome to the education video on how to track your oGV and oGT front office teams and use their respective tracking tools. The goals of this video are to give you a knowledge on where to get the data to use for tracking, how to extract data from EP tools, and how to interpret data in your tracking tool. Every oGV or oGT CXP team uses Expert to manage their EPs, the planning tool to plan their semester, and the EP sheet. If they do not use the EP sheet, they really should do it, since it increases their productivity tremendously. If they do use an EP sheet, and it is a good one, you only need that sheet and XBAR to track those teams. Because we only need basic information in order to have a good overview over their performance. Those indicators are the number of matches per member, the number of EPs in progress per member, and the interviews per member. So how do EP tracking tools actually look like? This is an example of a basic EP tracking tool. You have your EPs on the left side and then various information following them. For example, the EP manager, the first contact, next steps, or the time where they want to go abroad. This is another example of an EP tracking sheet. You have a timeline on the left side, your various EP manager up top, and below them their EPs, including all the things that are happening on each day individually. Let's use this sheet for an example on how to track your front office CXP teams. Below your EP manager, you have all of his EPs, including the day when they were added to his workload. So for example, you can see here that the EP manager currently has 5 EPs, and we have various information about all of them. For example, here you can see on the left side a C for contacted or an M for meeting. Also, it is very important to look at each sheet individually, because every EP sheet is usually differently. The important things for us are that you can see directly the number of matches, the number of interviews / contacts, and the number of EPs in progress. In this tool, they use a color code. So what information can we take out of this tool? First up, we have a P here for paid, meaning that EP is already matched. Then we have a switch of colors right here from red to blue. So the EP went from the attraction phase to the in progress phase, where he is actually looking for projects. Next, we have 2 M's for meeting. So those 2 EPs were actually interviewed. The green color on the left tells us that that EP is currently abroad. Then the second EP was apparently not interviewed, since he was contacted 2 times but did not receive a meeting. The last EP on the bottom right is a pretty new EP that was not interviewed yet. So let's look what we can actually do with the data. First up, you put in your member with the respective JD and MOS, if you haven't done that already. Then you can add a JD comment in your ongoing work to tell you what the EP manager is working on right now and how it's doing in the team. Now we can add our data that we get from the EP sheet. That member actually had 1 approved, so 1 match. He had 1 EP in progress during the month of November, and he did 2 interviews. The other EPs were either abroad or not interviewed yet. The conversion rates are automatically calculated, and you can actually look like what the member is doing well and what is not working well now. In the respective EP tracking tool, you had also the chance to get the number of contacts, so the number of times the EP manager actually talked to his EPs. Of course, you do not only want to track 1 member, but your whole team. So you put in the rest of your team with the respective data from your EP sheet. Now you can compare your members in your team. Right here you can see that 1 member did 3 interviews, but for example another one only did 1 or even 0. So the distribution of interviews among the team is not very good. Also, the number of EPs in progress is very low. You only have 2 EPs in progress overall. You can also see those numbers, for example, if you scroll down to the team sum and team average column. Right here, there's your 2 EPs that are in progress right now, which is way too low. Also, numbers of interviews overall, with 6 interviews, is not very high and should be improved. So what other output can we get from this tracking tool? First of all, we do not have enough EPs in progress and we do not do enough interviews. So probably we should think about our marketing strategy, since maybe our sign-up numbers are actually okay, but we are not getting them to do interviews and we are not getting the EPs to actually apply for projects. Furthermore, we have a bad distribution of EPs. Some EP manager have 3 EPs, some have 0. The conversion rate from in progress to approved is actually great, since every EP that was in progress is actually approved afterwards. So what action steps should we take? For example, we can recheck our market string strategy or check the number of sign-up versus the number of interviews. So what can we actually conclude from this video? First up, how to get data out of your EP sheets and how to use them for tracking. Then, of course, how to put the data into your tracking tool and how to draw conclusions from your tracking tool and subtract action steps. Then, of course, you should do those action steps with your Exchange team in order to boost your Exchange and productivity rates. Of course, every EP sheet and every tracking tool can look differently. So if you have problems subtracting data from the EP tools, look at it with your consultant or contact Matthias and they will gladly help you out on how to subtract data from a tool and actually track your front office teams. Two more notes. First up, of course, this was again real data from a German CXP team. And secondly, the tracking part, so putting in the data from your EP sheet into the tracking tool actually took 7 minutes. So it's not a lot of work to get the data and use it to actually boost your productivity in Exchange numbers. We really hope this video can help you and see you later.